Hey scrapbookers, I am back with a video about National Scrapbook Day this year. Here's my info if you want to get in touch. You can also look me up on Facebook. And quick funny story. When I recorded my videos for National Scrapbook Day products this year, I had really bad audio. So bad, in fact, that I am just deleting the audio track from the original recording. So I'm doing a total voiceover. It's weird, it's different, it's not what I normally have done in the past. And it's gonna sound like just different because you're not going to hear any of the tools and products and stuff rustling in the background. Just my voice, huh? Hopefully that's okay. But I want to show you the border and title kit. This is a new product from Creative Memories this year. We've had a few of these in different themes now, but they have been advisor exclusives, which means that advisors can order them for customers and advisors can order them for themselves, but customers will not find these for sale on the website. The kit includes everything you need for 2 layered borders and a title cluster that all match. And then off here to the side, you can see I have the pieces of the project recipe kit. This is also something I'm going to be putting together in a separate video pretty soon. Everyone at my National Scrapbook Day event is going to get this kit as well as the border and title kit. And then there are some additional products that you could purchase on the website or add on my event or another advisor's event. The project recipe kit includes instructions for 2 double-page layouts, as well as the papers and stickers to make those. And I'm going to walk through that in a separate video. The project recipe kit is on the website. You can get that as a customer or from your advisor. But today we're just going to take out all these pieces from this little kit, and it comes all packaged together. On the back of the packaging, you will see the instructions for putting together all of your pieces. There's everything here that you would need for a layered title cluster and some embellished borders. And all these are layered. They're very cute. They're super easy and fast. So you're going to come put these together in just literally a few minutes. And each piece has numbers and letters on the back to tell you which cluster or border it goes with, and how those pieces are going to be layered together. But of course, you can always be creative with your pieces. And even though this one says it's 3D, maybe if you wanted to include your words on your title instead, on the border instead of the title, you could move those things around instead of including them where the instructions recommends. So go ahead and feel free to be creative with these, just like with all of your craft supplies. There are some ideas here, ways to put things together. I'm going to use tape runner, and I'm also going to use some foam squares. That will just give us a little bit of extra dimension as we put these layers all together. But that is all you need for putting this little project together, is a tape runner. And the pieces on this one are not so small that I think anyone would need the repositionable tape. I'm just using regular tape runner here. But as long as you have adhesive and your kit, that's all you need. With my first layer on each border, I am just attaching the plant die cut layer on top of the blue background layer. And you'll see it it becomes like a nice extra border, kind of like that glow, just a little bit extra around it. And both of the borders and both of the blue backgrounds are the same, as in, like, if you used piece 1A with piece 2B, they match up. So it's not a big deal right here if you don't match up exactly the right A and B pieces, because they do actually line up. They're the same exact shapes. So we're going to put the second border, the first 2 layers of the second border together exactly the same way, just with some tape runner, attaching those pieces together. And then we will find the other layered decoration pieces for this border. So each of the borders is 12 inches. The idea is kind of that they could go together if you wanted to have 2 matching borders across the bottom of a 2-page layout. But if you wanted to use one on a layout and cut it apart, I'm going to show some examples of how you might do that, so that you can get a little more mileage, or if you just don't want so much decoration on a single layout. So we've got our 2 border base pieces together. we have a similar blue background for the title cluster. And then we have some embellishments for each side of the border. One side gets the watering can and the gloves, and the other side will get the wheelbarrow embellishment. We also have these other pieces that go with the title cluster. So the base, there are some words that are going to go with that, and this little potted plant or pots and plant piece. So we're just setting these all together, and then I'm going to start assembling these and actually use my foam squares here so that we get a little more dimension, so a little more height and interest, just something a little different in this set of layered borders. I'm just going to take a couple little squares and attach them to the pieces that are going to go together on this little embellishment. And you can see in the instructions printed on the back of the packaging kind of how those pieces are recommended to go together. But if you like something different, or if you even don't want to include these embellishments on the border, you could certainly do something else with these. Maybe you want to put them elsewhere on your page layout when you put all of your photos together with these. But that's what this looks like with the layers of foam squares. And then I'm going to do a similar thing with foam squares on the wheelbarrow cluster. And maybe I should mention I'm using tape runner to attach the double pieced cluster together to the actual border base. So the foam squares I'm using are just attaching the two embellishment pieces together on each layer or on each border. And then tape runner to attach that kind of flat to my layered border. So we are finishing putting together the second embellishment cluster for the second border. Then we have our pieces for the layered title cluster that are going to go together in a similar way. Here is what both of the borders look like. And again, I'm just using my tape runner to put together the bottom two layers, and then some foam squares will be used on the words to give those a little bit more height in this cluster. And I am going to use my scissors to cut apart a couple of my foam squares just to make them a little bit smaller. Sometimes the squares, even the smallest size, are a little bit too big for skinny strips of words or other embellishments that we're putting together, or other pieces of paper. So here we have our two finished borders and the title embellishment cluster. It is super easy to put these together with the picture instructions on the back of the packaging. And like I've said a couple times, there's really not a lot to it. You just assemble your pieces, make your cute title, make your cute border, and you have a nice little layered set of embellishments to go together or use across several pages. I'm going to pull out the cardstock from the project recipe kit and just show you what this would look like across a couple 12-inch pages. So this is the avocado cardstock and a piece of beige. And if you wanted to, you could definitely put these all together, maybe with a coordinating cardstock for some photo mats. Let me just adjust this so you can see the full effect across the bottom of a page, a set of pages. So here's what it looks like with the two full borders across two pages. If you wanted to do one border and split it up across the middle of a 2-page spread, you certainly could do that. Or if you wanted to go the opposite direction, you could cut your border in half and move things to the outside edges of your pages. That would look something a little more like this, where you've got maybe half of a border on the outside edge and half of a border on the other outside edge. This border, just because of the design, probably naturally fits more at the bottom of a page, but if you wanted to include it at the top of your page layout, there's no reason you can't do that too. And again, whether you want to include your title cluster here with these borders or on something else, you could do that really however you like, whatever works for you. I think these would also be really cute on cards if you wanted to just use this as the card sentiment, or parts of your borders onto cards. You could cut those up in any way you like. And I'm going to switch gears here and start making the project recipe kit, so join me for the next video where I will walk through that. See you again soon.